Good, because I want to protect you from him and from the company's pressures. Emma left the office feeling confused and vulnerable. That evening, she sent Jake a message. We need to talk. But he didn't reply. Days passed. The silence between them grew. At work, everything was awkward. Jake avoided her. She avoided him. Emma felt like she was caught in a storm, unsure which way to turn. She missed the easy laughter, the small talks, the way he made her feel alive. But she also feared the consequences. One rainy night, after a particularly long day, Emma was walking home when she saw someone sitting on the stairs outside her building, soaked and shivering. It was Jake. He looked up when she approached. I didn't know if you'd still want to see me, he said softly. Emma's heart ached. She opened the door and helped him inside. They sat on the couch, the rain tapping against the windows. Jake looked at her, serious. Now, I talked to my dad today. He said. Emma held her breath. What did he say? Jake sighed. He knows how I feel about you, and he's worried. But I told him this isn't a game for me. Emma's eyes filled with tears. She looked away. I'm scared, Jake. Scared I'll lose my job. Scared we'll lose each other. Lee reached out and took her hand gently. I'm not asking you to risk everything. He squeezed her fingers. I just want you to know that I care. Emma nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. They stayed like that for a long time. Two people caught between desire and doubt. Love and fear. When Jake left that night, he left behind a note on the kitchen table. Emma picked it up and read, I don't want to hide anymore. Her heart beat faster, but she didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Because sometimes love is easy, and sometimes love is the hardest thing of all. The days after Jake left Emma's apartment with that note felt heavy, like the air itself was waiting for something to break or change. Emma tried to focus on work. She threw herself into her tasks, answering emails, scheduling meetings, and organizing files. But no matter how busy she kept her hands, her mind kept returning to Jake's words. I don't want to hide anymore. It was a promise, but what did it really mean? Did Jake want to be with her openly? It's possible to be with the son of her boss when the company was small and rumors spread like wildfire? She wanted to believe it was possible. She wanted to believe in them, but reality had a way of complicating things. It came to a head one afternoon when her boss, Gregory Carter, summoned her to his office again. Emma felt the old nervous flutter in her chest as she knocked lightly and stepped inside. Gregory sat behind his large desk, arms folded, eyes serious, but not unkind. Emma, he said, I've been thinking about what I asked you last time. Emma's heart sank. About me and Jake, she said quietly. Gregory nodded. I want to be honest with you, he continued. You are a valuable part of this company. But relationships, especially those involving family, change everything. Emma swallowed hard. I understand, he sighed. Leaning back, my son is not easy to work with. You know that. And while I want him to be happy, I also want to protect you. Emma looked down at her hands. I don't want to cause problems. Gregory's expression softened. That's why I need you to be careful. Keep your boundaries clear. It's for your sake and for his. Emma nodded again, though inside her thoughts were spinning. She left the office feeling torn. How could she just keep things careful when her heart was already wrapped up in Jake? At her desk, she tried to push it all aside, but the silence between her and Jake was growing louder every day. He no longer sent texts. He no longer stopped by with coffee. Emma missed the easy connection, the quiet moments between boxes, the warmth in his eyes. One evening, she sat alone in her apartment, the rain tapping against the windows again. When her phone rang, it was Jake. Her breath caught. She answered, voice trembling slightly. Hey, he said softly. Hey, she replied. There was a pause. I'm sorry, Jake said, for not talking, for disappearing. Emma's heart ached. I don't want to lose you, he said. She swallowed. Then don't. Jake's voice was quiet, but full of determination. I've been talking to my dad. Emma's stomach twisted. And he's stepping down as CEO. Emma blinked, stunned. What? Why? Jake sighed. He said it's time for a change, for new ideas, for me to step up. Emma was speechless. Jake had never seemed ready to take the reins. He was always so unsure, so different from his father's stern leadership style. What does that mean for us? Emma asked. Jake hesitated. It means I can't hide anymore. Not from the company, not from anyone. Emma's heart pounded. This is real. Jake's voice was steady. Double quotes, yes. I want to be real with you if you'll have me. Tears welled in Emma's eyes. She wanted to say yes, but the fear was still there, the risk. Her phone buzzed with a message from her boss. Just then, come to the conference room at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Important announcement. Emma closed her eyes. The next morning, the entire staff gathered. Whispers filling the air. Gregory Carter stepped to the front, looking proud but tired. Today, he said, I am stepping down as CEO of Carter & Green. There was a murmur. In my place, he continued, is my son, Jake Carter. Emma's breath caught. Jake stepped forward, calm and confident. I know some of you may have doubts, he said. But I promise to lead with honesty, fairness, and respect. After the meeting, the office buzzed with excitement and uncertainty. Emma stayed back, waiting. Jake found her near the elevators. He smiled. But there was something serious in his eyes. He handed her a small envelope. Inside was a note. It read, I kept the boxes, and everything inside them. I hope you still want what we packed that day. Emma looked up at him, her heart full. They both knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be whispers, doubts, and challenges. But the door between them was left half open, and sometimes that was enough to step forward. The office was buzzing with the news of Jake Carter becoming the new CEO. Whispers floated in every hallway. Some people were excited, some skeptical. Emma could feel eyes on her, wondering if the rumors about her and Jake were true. The weight of the company's expectations rested heavily on both their shoulders. Emma wasn't sure if she was ready for what came next. But one thing was clear. Nothing would ever be the same. The day after the announcement, Jake found Emma at Eats. Her desk, a shy but genuine smile on his face. Hey, he said softly, ready to face the storm together. Emma nodded, heart pounding. I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm willing to try. Jake took her hand gently. We'll take it one day at a time. Their relationship was no longer a secret, but it wasn't exactly public either. They kept their connection private enough to avoid gossip, but open enough to be honest with each other. It was a delicate balance. At work, Emma noticed changes not just in Jake, but in herself. She felt stronger, more confident. She had always been good at her job, but now with Jake's support, she believed in herself more. One afternoon, Jake invited Emma to his office. He was working late. The city lights twinkling behind him through the large windows. Come in, he said, motioning to a chair. Emma sat down, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Jake looked at her seriously. I want you to know something, he said. I'm not just the CEO now. I'm someone who wants to build a life with you. Emma's heart skipped a beat. I've been scared, Jake admitted. Scared of failing, scared of what people would think. But with you, it feels different. Emma reached out and took his hand. I'm scared too, she said. But I want this, us. They smiled, a quiet promise passing between them. But not everything was easy. Whispers in the office grew louder. Some colleagues were jealous. Others worried about favoritism. Emma overheard conversations questioning her place in the company. One day, a senior manager called her into a meeting. Emma, he said carefully, you have to understand how people see this. It's complicated. Emma took a deep breath. I understand, she replied. But I'm here because I work hard, not because of Jake. He nodded slowly. Just be careful. Emma left the meeting feeling the pressure. That night, she and Jake talked about their future. "We can't let the gossip win," Jake said firmly. "We have to be stronger than that." Emma nodded. Together, they agreed to keep building their relationship with honesty and respect, both at work and outside. One weekend, Jake surprised Emma with a small picnic by the waterfront. They sat on a blanket, watching the sun set over the water, the sky painted with soft pinks and oranges. Jake took Emma's hand in his. "I want to do this," he said. "Build something real, no hiding, no fears." Emma looked into his eyes, feeling a warmth that went deeper than attraction. "I want that too." The moment was gentle, full of promise. Days turned into weeks, and their relationship grew stronger. Emma felt she had found someone who truly saw her not just as an employee or a boss's son's girlfriend, but as herself. But life wasn't just about romance. The company faced new challenges. Jake had to prove himself as a leader, making tough decisions that sometimes put pressure on their personal lives. Emma supported him, offering advice and a listening ear. Their love became a quiet strength amid the storms. One evening, after a long day, Jake and Emma sat together in the office, the city lights glowing outside. Jake looked at Emma, tired but happy. "Thank you for believing in me," he said. Emma smiled. "I believe in us." They leaned into each other, the future uncertain but hopeful, and for the first time in a long time, Emma knew she wasn't alone. She had Jake. They had each other, and together, they could face whatever came next. Emma didn't usually work weekends. In fact, she'd promised herself she never would, not after spending 3 years juggling double shifts and night classes just to earn her business degree. Weekends were supposed to be for sleeping in, grocery, shopping, catching up on laundry, and if she was lucky, curling up with a good book and a bad TV show. But when the email from the office manager landed in her inbox late Thursday evening, asking for volunteers to help with the office relocation, on Saturday, Emma didn't hesitate long. She was still new, barely 5 months into her role as administrative assistant at Carter and Munn Green Marketing, and, while no one said it out loud, she could feel it. Every little thing she did still felt like part of an ongoing interview. So she replied, "I'll be there," and marked it on her calendar. Saturday morning came too early, as it always did. Seattle skies were overcast, drizzle tapping against her bedroom window like it had something to say. Emma pulled on jeans, a soft gray hoodie, and her most reliable pair of sneakers. She tied her hair into a bun that would survive the day and left her apartment with a thermos of coffee and a knot of nerves in her stomach. She arrived at the building a few minutes before 9 a.m., expecting maybe 1 or 2 people already hauling boxes. The movers weren't due until noon, and she figured she'd be helping label cubicle drawers and pack up office supplies. What she didn't expect was the sight of him leaning casually against the elevator doors, holding 2 cups of coffee, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Jake Carter, her boss's son. Emma's steps slowed instinctively. She had only seen Jake once before, months ago, when he stopped by the office for a brief meeting with his father, Gregory Carter, the company's co-founder and CEO. Back then, Jake had worn a crisp suit, walked with quiet confidence, and smiled at everyone like he already knew what they were thinking. Emma had kept her head down that day, unsure if she should be impressed or intimidated. Today, he looked completely different. No suit, no polished shoes. Just jeans, slightly scuffed white sneakers, and a faded University of Washington hoodie. His dark hair was a little messy from the wind, and his smile when he spotted her was warmer than she expected. "I brought an extra," he said, holding out a coffee cup. "Wasn't sure if anyone else would show up. Guess I got lucky." Emma hesitated, then took the cup. "Thanks. You're Emma, right?" he asked. She nodded, trying to sound casual. "And you're Jake." "Guilty," he said with a grin. He pushed the elevator button and they rode up in silence, the kind that wasn't awkward but full of something else. curiosity, interest, maybe even recognition. The office looked different without the usual buzz of voices and keyboards. Empty shelves, half-packed desks. The quiet hum of fluorescent lights. It felt like the end of something. Or maybe the beginning. So, Jake said, rolling up his sleeves, "You ready to lift some very exciting, extremely glamorous cardboard boxes?" Emma laughed. "Can't wait." For the next hour, they worked side by side. The boxes weren't too heavy, but the memories packed inside them made everything feel weightier. Old reports, promotional materials, half-used notebooks, the physical pieces of a company slowly letting go of its past. Emma caught glimpses of Jake when he wasn't looking, the way he moved with purpose, how he whistled softly under his breath while stacking things neatly. Like someone who had done this kind of work before, Irene, if he didn't have to. "I thought you'd be off doing." "I don't know, executive things," she said at one point, brushing dust off her hands. Jake chuckled. "My dad said helping with the move would build character. I think he just didn't want to pay movers for an extra day." Emma smiled. "Well, at least you're good at it." "Don't tell him that. He'll make me do it again." They found a rhythm, packing, lifting, talking. Emma shared how she'd moved to Seattle last year for a fresh start after a breakup and a dead-end job. Jake told her about dropping out of law school, Wise End, how his dad wasn't thrilled about it. "We don't exactly see eye to eye on what a real job looks like," he said, "but I'm trying, figuring things out." Emma nodded. "Yeah, me too." By noon, they were both dusty, a little sweaty, and halfway through the office. Emma peeled off her hoodie, revealing a tank top underneath. Jake tried not to stare, but Emma noticed and blushed. They sat on the floor, leaning against a stack of boxes. For a few quiet minutes, neither said anything. Just the sound of distant traffic and the occasional creak of the old building settling. Jake looked over at her, more serious now. "Hey, you hungry?" She blinked. "What?" "I know a good sandwich place around the corner," he said. "We've earned it, right?" Emma hesitated. This wasn't a date. It wasn't anything really. Just two co-workers or whatever they were grabbing lunch after doing a favor for the company. But there was something in the way he looked at her. A softness. A question he didn't quite know how to ask. "Okay," she said. "Lunch sounds good." They walked together, their pace slow, their steps sinking naturally. Jake held the door open for her. She laughed at his dumb sandwich pun. And when they sat across from each other at a small waterfront cafe, she realized something. She hadn't felt this light in a long, long time. They talked about music, its childhood summers, its favorite books, regrets. When they finished eating, Jake leaned forward, his tone quieter now. "You free tonight?" Emma looked at him, heart skipping. She wasn't sure what she was saying yes to, but something inside her whispered, "Say yes." And she did, after that weekend. Emma thought her life might return to normal. She was wrong. The lunch with Jake had been unexpected but nice. They had joked, shared stories, and for a little while, forgotten about the stress of the office move and the uncertainty waiting for them back at work. But after that day, something shifted. It wasn't just that Jake started texting her. It was what those texts said. At first, the messages were simple. "Morning, Emma. Ready for another box marathon today? Coffee? Refill? My treat this time? Did you see the new playlist I sent? Thought you'd like it." Emma smiled each time her phone buzzed with his name. There was something about the way Jake made her feel noticed, like she mattered beyond her job title. It was new and wonderful and terrifying because she knew she shouldn't feel this way. Not about Jake Carter, her boss's son, the man whose family ruled the company she worked for. She told herself to keep things professional, to not get distracted, but every day her heart betrayed her. She started noticing little things, how Jake's texts came just when she felt overwhelmed, how his voice was calm and steady whenever they spoke on the phone, how his eyes lit up when they accidentally bumped into each other near the coffee machine. One Wednesday afternoon, Emma sat at her desk, staring at a spreadsheet she didn't understand, when her phone buzzed again. Tough day. Want to talk? She bit her lip, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then, slowly, she typed back, maybe, I'm stressed. Within minutes, Jake appeared at her cubicle, holding 2 cups of hot tea. You looked like you needed this, he said quietly. Emma felt a warmth spread inside her, not just from the tea, but from the way he looked at her, like he saw the real her, not just the office assistant. They talked for a long time that afternoon, not about work, not about the company or the move, just about life, about hopes, about mistakes Emma shared. How she'd been hurt before, how trusting people had always been hard. But how she still wanted to believe in good things. Jake listened. Really listened when she looked up. She found his eyes soft and full of something she couldn't name. A week later, things became harder. Emma was working late, finishing a report for a new client, when her phone buzzed again. Hey, want some company? She was tired, stressed, and alone in her small apartment. Maybe was a bad decision. But she said yes. Jake arrived with Chinese food and a tired smile. They ate on her worn couch, the city lights glowing outside the window. Emma felt safe with him, like a shield from the world's chaos. After dinner, they sat quietly. Emma's head rested on Jake's shoulder. He didn't try to push her away or say anything. He just held her. And in that moment, Emma felt something blossom inside her, something she hadn't allowed herself to feel for a long time. Love, attraction, longing. She wasn't sure. She only knew it was real. But the next morning, things felt different. Jake was gone. The apartment was quiet, and on the kitchen table, Emma found a folded note. She opened it slowly. I shouldn't like you this much, but I do. Her heart raced. What did it mean? Was this just a moment? Or something more? She tried to focus on work, but her mind kept drifting back to Jake and that note. That same day, her boss, Gregory Carter, called her into his office. Emma's stomach twisted. Was he going to talk about her and Jake? She hoped not, but when she entered, she saw the seriousness in his eyes. Emma, he began slowly, I need to ask you something important. She nodded, heart pounding. Is there anything going on between you and my son? Emma's throat tightened. She wanted to say no. She wanted to keep things professional. But the truth was hard to deny. She looked down. I don't know what you mean. Gregory leaned forward. Emma, I'm not here to accuse or judge, but you have to understand this could affect your position here. Emma felt the weight of his words. She was scared. She needed this job, and she didn't want to lose it over feeling she barely understood herself. I promise. Mr. Carter, nothing unprofessional has happened, she said quietly. Gregory studied her for a moment, then nodded.